everybody, I'm Catherine and I'm here today with a video for you about my top 10 movies of 2014. So when I was making this video and choosing my list of movies, I really only had one rule in mind. It had to be a movie that I saw in 2014. So whether this was in theaters or it was in the comfort of my own home, it had to be something that was current to 2014. As far as I can remember, every movie on this list did in fact come out in 2014. So that made it really simple too. So they are all 2014 releases, but not all of them are necessarily on video yet. So let's just get right down to it, shall we? These movies are in no particular order at all. It's really just the order I kind of thought of them in, and yeah, let's go. The first movie on my list is If I Stay. So this was based on the young adult novel by Gail Forman, which was amazing. I think I bawled through like half of it. And surprisingly, while I didn't cry at the movie because I knew what was going to happen, I loved it nonetheless. I bought my own copy, obviously, duh. And I actually only just recently, near the end of 2014, actually got around to watching it with a friend of mine after I had bought it. I wanted to see it in theaters and I just never got a chance. Number 2 on my list is Horns. This movie stars Daniel Radcliffe and, as a special bonus, was actually filmed in the town where I lived in BC when I was living there. Like, Daniel Radcliffe was on file at the pharmacy I worked at. I could have looked at his stuff, but I didn't because that's against the law. Yeah. But as dear as this movie is in my heart, I loved it even more so because I read the book, and I will link the review down below for the book. The book is phenomenal, and the movie was done so well as an adaptation from book to film. It just blew my mind, and I need to get my hands on a copy. I just haven't done it yet because, yeah, I just haven't done it yet. Number 3 movie on my list is Maleficent. This one I actually went to theaters to see by myself. It was a little depressing, but it was so good, and no one else wanted to go with me who I was able to go with at the time that it was in theaters, that I just said, screw it, I'm going to see this, and that's it. And it was amazing. I loved the take that they did on Sleeping Beauty. I thought Angelina Jolie was phenomenal, and it really makes you see the villain from Sleeping Beauty in this completely different light, which is what I love about movies like this. Number 4 on my list is The Loophole movie that I broke my own rules to add on to this list. So technically I did see it in 2015. It was a 2014 release, and I was going to go and see it Christmas Day when it came out with my mother, and then family decided to have dinner. So I am adding it to this list on the pretense that it was supposed to have been viewed before I did it in reality. So it's on the list no matter what. Anyway, that movie is Into the Woods, which is the adaptation of a Broadway musical, if I'm remembering correctly. But regardless, it was awesome. I loved this movie. It wasn't what I expected it to be, which I really enjoyed. I didn't think it would be so much of a, like, operatic musical, meaning like it's musical 95% of the time, and then the rest of the time, like, there's very little actually speaking bits. Most of it is sung, which I really enjoyed. There was this little brat of a kid behind me in the movie theater, though, who I really wanted to turn around and punch, who kept kicking my seat and throwing popcorn on us and complaining about being at the movie. This is why, parents, you don't take your children to the late showings on a Tuesday. Number 5 is a movie that I actually have a review for the movie here on my channel, so I will link that below as well, and it is Vampire Academy. So this one came out last February, so almost an entire year ago, and I loved it. absolutely loved it. It has so many awesome memories connected to it now because I went with amazing friends, but I have rewatched this movie several times since, and it's awesome. Awesome, 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 awesome. And pretty close to the book as well, which makes it that much better. Yeah. Aside from the fact that Dimitri looks like, you know, a Jack Black, what was that guy's name? That Josh guy who's like the major heartthrob in the late 90s, early 2000s. He looks like a love child between the two of them. Yeah, Josh Hartnett, that's it. Dimitri looks like the love child between Josh Hartnett and Jack Black. But it's awesome. Number 6 is a movie that I feel like is going to be on everybody's top list for movies for 2014, and it is Mockingjay Part 1. I think I liked this movie better than the first two, which is surprising because they added in a bunch to make it work, and it was amazing. I don't know if it was the script or the cinematography or just the way that they did it, but I loved it, and I can't wait to buy it when it comes out on video, and for Mockingjay Part 2 to come out next November. It needs to happen sooner rather than later. Number 7 on my list is the latest X-Men installment, Days of Future Past. Now, I am going to admit, while I have not delved deeply into the actual comic books, I am such a fan of all of the movies. I love it. I love Hugh Jackman. I love, oh my god, I'm spacing on all the names, but everybody. I love everybody in this universe. And I found that the way they did this was just phenomenal for how they combined the two, the past and the present, and just, it was like perfect. In my opinion. I'm sure the like crazy out nerds say it goes against the canon and all of that, but I don't care. Number 8 is a movie that also shouldn't come to any surprise to anyone, and that is Divergent. I sense a theme going on in this list, but I can't wait for Insurgent to come out soon. I finally finished reading the book, and now I can go on to Allegiant eventually before that movie comes out. I'm really not in a rush. I know how it ends. But I thought that they did, from book to movie, really well with this. There were a few things, but I can't recall any of them right now. I really don't care. I thought it was done really well, and it was a really great start to the trilogy of the movies as well. Number 9 is a movie that I feel like not a lot of people necessarily know about. Let me know if this is wrong. But it was one that came to my attention just randomly sometime last summer, and I had wanted to see it ever since, and finally the movie network got it on, so I was able to actually like TiVo it and watch it, which was awesome. And that is The Pretty One. So just quickly, this movie is about a set of twins who are identical in every way except the way that people see them. One is really outgoing and one is really introverted and still lives at home. And when the extroverted twin comes home for the birthday, horrible accident happens and she passes away in a car accident that they're both in. However, the big twist in this movie is that everyone mistakes the introverted twin for her sister, and she kind of just ends up assuming her life while trying to also find herself. It's crazy amazing. I cried in this movie. I thought it was so wonderfully well done. I really suggest it to anyone who thinks that they might enjoy it. Definitely go and check out the trailer on YouTube, because this is one of those movies that is not getting a lot of attention, I feel. And it definitely deserves it. Last but not least was possibly my most anticipated movie of 2014. And I was just beyond ecstatic when I was finally finally, after years and years of waiting for this to happen, able to watch it. And that is the Veronica Mars movie. If you are not acquainted with Veronica Mars, where have you been living? Under a rock? You must have been, because Veronica Mars is awesome. Just awesome. The movie picks up several years after the TV series ends, which chronologically, if you follow in the year that the TV series started and the year that the movie happened, was perfect. Just wonderful. And then subsequently, you have the book series that now follows the movie, which picks up right where the movie ends off. So it's like the movie never ends. It's just wonderful and perfect. I can't wait to read the second book. I have it in my Audible, waiting. I need to get a copy so I can actually read it as well. That shit needs to be in all the formats. So those are my top 10 movies of 2014. Okay, technically it's top 9 with one loophole option. I'm counting it. And in case you didn't notice, almost all of these are movies that are based on books or on something else, not just a movie. There's only one like that I know of, and if I find out it's based on a book, that just cements my awesomeness of this list, basically. So until next video, guys, happy reading, and let me know down below what your favorite movies of 2014 were. And they don't have to be 2014 releases, just the favorite movie you watched for the first time in 2014. That's good enough for me. Bye, everybody.